Well, it's that time of year again where all the leaves are changing colour, and I've come to a place not far from where I live, about a good 10-minute walk up a very steep hill, and this is called Smithills. I thought I'd come here and give you a little bit of a treat to show you what's local to me. Quite lucky to have this around me. There's lots of big gardens around here, the house behind me, and it does stretch all the way back what's behind me and in front. Thought I'd come here today and give you a bit of history of the place and what goes on around it and inside this building. I'm going to show you the inside and outside of this place and give you accounts of the things what happen around here. So I hope you like this, and thought I'd put it together for a little Halloween special for you. So sit back and enjoy. Smiddles is a lovely timber frame 15th century manor house with later 16th century and Victorian additions. The manor now serves as a museum and is operated by the Bolton Council. The first manor at Smiddles was built by the Bolton family sometime before 1335, but the timber frame manor we see today was built by the Ratcliffe family in the late 15th century. The Ratcliffe line of descent died out in 1485, and Smiddles passed to the Bolton family, who lived there for the next 2 centuries. Then, in 1659, the Hall passed through marriage to the wealthy Belacy family. The Belacys had numerous manors and paid little attention to the now old-fashioned hall at Smiddles. In 1801, the Ainsworth family of Bolton purchased the hall and gradually rebuilt and restored it. Like so many large houses, Smiddles suffered from social upheaval in the early 20th century. The house and estate was simply too large to be run profitably. In 1970, the house was sold to Bolton Council, and for a time, parts were used as flats and the daycare centre. The medieval part of the hall was restored and opened as a museum in 1963, and the museum was later extended into the Victorian additions. Highlights at Smiddles include the timber frame Great Hall. Beyond the hall are the private chambers for the Ratcliffe family. There is a drawing room built around 1520 and the 16th century extension built for Robert Barton. Contrast these medieval and Tudor rooms with the Victorian library, with groups selected to show off the owner's education and taste. One unusual feature at Smiddles is a mark on the stone floor at the entrance to the drawing room. This mark is said to be the footprint of George Marsh, a local farmer from Bolton who was put to death for his Protestant beliefs in the reign of Mary I. Smiddles is a real hive of activity if the reports are anything to go by. Most Haunted investigated here and uncovered several interesting occurrences. A mischievous spirit is said to pinch staff and visitors' bottoms, and there have also been reports of visitors being touched, particularly near their stairs, between the bower and solar rooms. A lady in a period dress has also been seen to walk the stairs. People have reported smelling burning wood, and orbs have been regularly caught on camera. A small boy with long black curly hair, known as Tommy, has been felt in the solar rooms by mediums. The presence of a young girl has also been touched on. People who have been in the drawing room have seen figures dressed in soldiers' uniforms walking past the windows outside. They are thought to be royalist soldiers who passed through here during the Civil War. There have also been unexplained encounters in the chapel. One day, one of the friends of Smithills Hall, who was in the building before it opened to the public, entered the chapel and saw there was somebody already in there kneeling in prayer. On meeting a colleague in the corridor, he mentioned that there was also someone in the chapel. The colleague went to have a look and returned to say there was no one there. More recently, a member of staff removing dead flowers from the chapel was pushed from behind into the wall with such force that they received grazes. George Marsh, a local farmer, was tried in the courtroom here and was sentenced to death at the stake. His footprint is said to be left in the flagstone on the way up to the room where he was held. One of the residents removed this, but it was reported that there was an uproar of poltergeist activity, and it was placed back facing the wrong way. People have refused to enter the room because of the feeling of male violent spirit lurking around there. The most recent report of the paranormal was that of a short figure with black hair and old clothes being seen crouched down near a tour guide in the tea room. The guide later looked at the Fox's Book of English Martyrs and was shocked to see how similar George Marsh was to what he'd seen. On many occasions, the shop manager in the hall had been looking into a particular mirror only to see a tall man with bushy white hair dressed in black standing in the doorway and sometimes near the stairs. When the house was a residential home, security guards regularly reported horses galloping outside the front of the house. A member of staff who worked at the hall when it was a residential home later described how the sounds of horses passing the house were heard regularly going on late into the night. However, when the noises were heard, anyone checking would see no sign of either horses or riders. The hall was a residential home between the 1930s and the 1990s. One summer, a local theatre company performed at the hall. On one occasion, the director arrived early and was enjoying the evening sunshine when he heard the sound of footsteps coming across the gravel towards him. The director turned around to find out who it was. To his surprise, there was nobody there.